Hello dear Prevero community. My name is Valery Israilovich and I would like to introduce you to our Unit 4 Prevero Office Client. The Office Client is a smart tool which connects your Prevero data to Word, PowerPoint and Excel. It allows you to present your live Prevero data in Microsoft Office tools. In the case of Excel, it is even possible to write back into your Prevero database. The Office client can be, for example, used to generate standardized reports that can be updated by the click of a button. Let's get started with the setup. The setup begins in your Unit 4 Prevero client. We need to allow a certain user to access the Office client. We do that under Licenses by checking the respective box next to the user. In our case, I would like to access the Office client as the administrator. Now we have to execute some installation files. With every installation package of Unit 4 Prevero, you receive files that register the Office Client add-in with your Microsoft Office tools. The files can be found in your Prevero installation folder, there in the Client folder under the name Add-in Register. Double-click each of the files and wait a couple of moments for the console to disappear. After that, the installation of the Office client is done. You can now open your Office tool, and if everything went as expected, you can now see a Prevero tab in the header. If you cannot see the tab, you might need to activate it in the Office settings. Just go to Options and Add-ins. Select the COM add-ins and see whether the Prevero add-in is checked. First of all, a connection has to be established. We need this connection as a guide for the Office client as to where it could and should access Prevero to extract data. A connection consists of a distinct name and information about server, port, and domains. Use the connection data that you specified when installing Prevero. In my case, Prevero is installed on my local machine and uses the port 8443. After specifying the connection data, you can load the domains. If everything went right, you should now be able to choose out of a list of all the databases you have connected to Prevero. I select the data source, which is a pre-sales demo, and I can now be more precise by selecting a base year, a scenario, and a data cube, to which the connection should be limited. Before you can select the detailed connection data, you get prompted to log in with your Prevero credentials. This connection has to be established every time you start the Office client. Because it's rather annoying to fill out this form each and every time, you can save an established connection and load it upon starting your Office tool. Just click on the Connections button and save the connection file on your computer. Later, load it the same way. Nevertheless, it will be necessary to log in with your Prevero user each time. This was everything you need to know about the setup. Now, let's get to work. Let us start with the Word integration. You can see an example report that I created. This document shows all the different ways data can be extracted from Prevero to fit your Word report. You can plant names of dimension elements in your running text, like the name of one of our demo salesmen, Christian Meyer. You can also input numbers or even whole data sets. Let's start with a single value. I would like to fill this space with the total value of revenues for Christian Meyer in our actual 2017 period. To achieve that, I go into the Unit 4 Prevero Rich client and search the view for the desired piece of information. I slice and dice the view until I find my information. Then I right-click the cell, click on Copy for Office, return to my Word document and use the button Insert Values from View in the Prevero tab. You see, the value appears. Let's check its validity. It's the actual 17 value for revenues of Christian Meyer. 474,000 euros. Furthermore, we can insert names of dimensions or dimension elements. I, for example, wish to place the name of the measure cost of sales into the running text. Again, you prepare a view and copy the element for Office. click on Insert from View, and voila, it's there. You can also insert a value without being in the rich client first. Let's input the value for cost of sales in 2017. To do so, click on Define and Insert Values. A menu pops up that allows you to define the desired information. You can name the data point and then go on to defining it. You select a connection, a base year, a scenario, and a data cube. The cost of sales can be found in my sales planning cube. I select Christian Meyer out of the business unit dimension, the period actual 2017, the measure cost of sales from the standard version, and for all the products. You can see a preview of the selected value. And now you can just click on Insert. Let's verify this value too. We can find it under Christian Meyer, over all products, and for the period actual 2017. The value checks out. We can also use the word integration to extract whole data sets. That way we could, for example, fill out a table in one step. To do so, we have to lay out a table of the desired proportions and then just copy and paste the values into it from the Prevero Rich client. I want to show the monthly revenues of Christian Meyer for our two product groups over the months of 2017. Now I just highlight the data set, right-click, copy the data for Office, and insert it in the Prepare table by clicking the first cell of the table and the button Insert from View. Upon your next login, you won't need to update the values. The reason is that there are no actual values in this Word document. All the data we inserted from Prevero consists of references to the database, as you can see by clicking on Show Definitions. So in order to update your report, you just need to click on Update Values, and the Office client fills the references with values freshly extracted from Prevero. Up next, we're going to be looking at the possibilities the Office client holds for PowerPoint. We can insert single values, whole tables, and even generate diagrams out of the data. Clicking into the table shows the dynamic references. We could delete a single reference and therefore empty the cell. Now we will replace the value. What we want is the revenue for the Prevero group over all products in the actual period of 2016. Now go back to the Rich client and find the information needed. Again, we copy the value for Office and insert it by using the button Insert from View. Using the same copy-paste trick, we could fill out a table at once, the same way we did it in Word. Now, let's generate a diagram from Prevero data. Unfortunately, we have to make a circuit over Microsoft Excel, since PowerPoint needs Excel to generate diagrams. You can select the diagram type, and will be redirected to Excel, where you can input the data to be plotted. Once again, we load a connection file or define a new connection. Now, we can go back to Prevero, select the data set to be visualized, copy it for Office, and insert it in Excel. In Excel, there is no Insert button, so you can just paste it with a shortcut or by right-clicking. Now go back to PowerPoint. Click on Select Data and highlight your data set in Excel. After you have done so, you can close Excel and admire your diagram in PowerPoint. Neat. The beauty of the Office client is that the values can always be brought up to date as soon as the values change in the Prevero database. Now let's talk about the Excel integration. Like before, we need to establish a connection or load an existing connection file. The Excel client allows the user to create an ad hoc analysis. An ad hoc analysis can be compared to a view of a data cube. The values in this analysis are not dynamic, but rather a current representation of the data cube. Click on Ad hoc Analysis and select the base year, the scenario, and the data cube you want to portray in Excel. In my example, I want to display the sales planning cube. After selection, Excel generates an interactive view. You can see the dimensions that can be found in the cube, their elements, and the source information regarding base year, scenario, and cube. The blue elements work as input helpers from which you can drill down to the element you want to display. Now you can create your view. To do that, just click on a dimension, it gets highlighted, and then click on the empty gray box you want to contain the dimension. Now you can drill your way down through the dimension. The same way you can drop another or multiple dimensions on the horizontal axis and drill your way through it. So the at first empty gray boxes represent spaces for table access. You can fill them by putting the dimensions from gray to gray. In this ad hoc analysis, you can still make modifications. You can change colors or get rid of elements in which you are not interested, for example, the forecast period. The values you see being generated are current values from the sales planning cube. They are not dynamic. You see, no formulas, just values. That's why the Refresh Values button does not work for the ad hoc analysis. Based on this ad hoc analysis, we can create further sheets. First off, you can create a report by clicking on the respective button. The report gets created automatically. The difference between the ad hoc analysis and the report is that the values in the report are now dynamic references. You can see formulas behind the cells. This is a getValue formula that references dimensions and metadata. This report can therefore be refreshed anytime by clicking the Refresh Value button. However, the structure of the report, unlike the ad hoc analysis, cannot be altered anymore. So if you did not drill down far enough, you cannot catch up on that anymore without discarding the report. Furthermore, an ad hoc analysis can be used to generate a form. By clicking the button Create Form, you can create an Excel sheet that allows write back to the Prevero database. While the form does not look any different from the report or the ad hoc analysis, the formulas behind the values are of a different kind. The form contains added value formulas. They allow write back. So the values are not only updated by clicking Refresh Value, but also written back to Prevero. The form goes both ways. Now you can either remain with this and use the functionalities the Excel client offers, or you can adapt an existing Prevero worksheet to Excel. To do so, you can just export a worksheet as an Excel file from Prevero and open it in Excel. Then you can replace the values with getValue or addedValue formulas and reference the respective elements in the formulas. The result is a fully functional worksheet that looks just like the one in Prevero, which means the user will already be familiar with the interface. Let's test it out. In October of the budget period 2018, Christian Meyer is planning to sell 5 units of the brush cutter M230X. Now, Mr. Meyer wants to update this planned value to 50 units. We can just change the 5 to 50, click on Write Back, and go into the Rich client to see that the value updated upon recalculation. There we go. To construct such an Excel form, you will just need 4 formulas. To display dimension names, use the getDimension attribute formula. To display dimension elements with the possibility to turn them into input helpers, you can use the getElementAttributeID formula. And then there are the 2 already mentioned formulas, the getValue and the editValue formula. I hope I could provide you with an overview of the possibilities the Office Client offers. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you for your attention and goodbye.